In a classic case of who moved my cheese, businesses either get consumed by the trends that move their market, or they identify those trends early and move to consume new markets. How does TELUS respond to the emergence of the Internet of Things? This is the focus of our engagement today. But before we go to our recommendations, I want to explore a key strategic insight. Up here we have research and development spending amongst the top players in the IoT space, along with the Canadian telecom companies. Choosing a market is just as much about our own strengths as it is about the growth and opportunities in that particular market. Google and Cisco, along with many other firms in the Valley, do an amazing job in developing new technologies, in bringing new hardware and products. We're better at something else. TELUS has the highest customer satisfaction, the lowest churn rate, and an incredibly close relationship with our customers. Customer loyalty, our close relationships as trusted advisors, this is our key strength, our strategic strength and opportunity. Keeping this insight in mind, let's explore what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be addressing three subsidiary issues. First, we need to address how to make our sales model scalable. We've got 93 solutions on the IoT marketplace. That's a lot, and it's growing. It tripled from last year. Then we've got to address this problem of integration. New technologies are expensive. Customers are not seeing the full potential and value of these technologies. We've got to integrate them. And finally, we're going to address an industry focus. We can't do everything at once. We're going to look at where we should be investing our greatest effort. Here's a summary of the recommendations we're going to be making today. First, we're going to be introducing a consultative sales model, an innovative new sales model, something that will specifically address the problem of scalability. Next, we're going to look at integrating with the TELUS white label branding and white label platform. And finally, we'll look at healthcare as our industry focus, the industry where we'll set up our first opportunity and move from there. Let's begin with understanding our consultative sales model. Mr. Sen.
Thanks, Amit. So when we look at the sales structure at TELUS today, it's extremely complicated. We have many different clients that we value greatly, but there's no organization as to how our salespeople currently interact with their clients. Secondly, as you can see from below, there are many different products that we offer, and it's difficult for us to help our salespeople understand each product intimately. So how do we address these issues? The first thing we want to do is simplify. By making sure that our salespeople have a set number of clients that they work with directly, they're able to add and build relationships with the organizations they do work. They are able to understand the specific needs of their client organizations. But let's simplify even more and add an industry specification. By making sure that our salespeople work within specific industry verticals, we are ensuring that they are able to build a knowledge base, become industry leaders in the sales capabilities of where they're selling it. The second thing we want to look at is integrating the many products that we have. We have 93 different products, and we want to make sure that the best...
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Of course, go ahead.
So you talked about the three things, consultative sales model.
Yeah.
I didn't get the consultative part of that.
Sure.
I got the industry specialization. What's
Yeah.
the consultative?
That's a great point, and I'm really glad you brought it up. So when we think about the current relationship that our salespeople have with their clients, it's very much a specialist engagement. So a specialist is basically someone who responds to queries from the clients. When the client has an issue, when the client has a new problem that they want to deal with, they will contact the specialist. A consultative relationship is based on problem solving. So when our salespeople are actually able to understand, because they have industry expertise, because they work with the same clients all the time, they're able to provide solutions to the clients. Does that address your concern?
Maybe I'll ask one more.
Sure.
Are you suggesting two levels of, or two groups of people, specialists and consultants, or are you asking for or recommending an evolution from one to the other?
Okay. Let me clarify this. Think about it this way. You either take a series of products you have, really specialize in that, understand those products, and then go find customers to sell those products to. Or you understand a set of customers really well, keep a really close relationship with those customers, and then you look at the various product offerings and think of what you can suggest. So the idea here is, rather than focusing on taking products to market, we want to focus on understanding a small set of customers really well. This is a new space, there are a lot of technologies out there. And then thinking about what products we can develop, how can we fit the various products out there into this market. And we're going to explore this in a little more detail in our integration part, so how exactly this balance of being a consultant comes into play.
Great. So an integrated product suite will consist of selecting the best products that TELUS has and creating a white label platform. A white label platform is a curation of our top products within a specific industry vertical that has mass market appeal. The current problem that a lot of clients have, and the way that they can't see the value of IoT, is the fact that there's a lack of integration. By integrating these products so that they work in tandem with one another, we're able to provide superior value to our clients. However, there are specific problems that are often not solved by a one-size-fits-all solution. To this end, we have the TELUS Marketplace. The Marketplace is a consortium of add-on products that are able to solve specific client needs. While all the products in the Marketplace have demonstrated client value, they're not necessarily mass market solutions, and therefore come as standalone products. But let's take a moment to talk about the really exciting part of the Internet of Things. The most exciting part of the Internet of Things is the fact that it's a rapidly growing industry. Every month, there are new products, new technologies that are being introduced. TELUS wants to identify the best products, those products that will eventually become the leaders within the IoT sphere. And in order to make sure that we don't become laggards in this industry, we want to introduce the incubator model. The incubator is a highly selective organization or form within TELUS that allows emergent technologies to be trialed with the beta company. If they are successful, they are then introduced to the marketplace or overall integrated solution. This will allow us to trial new products and new technologies in a minimally risk way. So let's talk about the discussion. Is there a
question here?
Sure.
Before getting into the integration topic, how do you assess the existing 90+ applications that we have to make sure that they're actually ready for future?
Sure. What we're looking at here with integration is picking the most popular products, the top products, those products that we know have been tested with customers are really enjoying, and we look at picking a few of those products, just a few, 3 to 5, and integrating them together to create this white label platform. Everything else goes into the marketplace. The idea is that the sales force has a certain set of products that they have real expertise in selling, our core products, the TELUS white label platform. Once they've sold that, then we look at what new opportunities can we bring as consultants to this particular client. And in that next step, we look at the various options in the marketplace and bring in new products from that particular marketplace. Does that address the question?
Partially.
Similar that and previous question as well. The marketplace is there, it's being seeded. You have consultants who are knowledgeable in the customer's business, but in order to select the right products, do they not need some specialization in all of those now populous number of products? So there still is there not a need for both?
Here's how this works. When we look at specifically what an individual does, if I'm a salesperson, my job should be to first sell this particular platform that's really popular. Then there's a huge marketplace of different products out there. I don't need to understand all of them. I'm looking for opportunities. So I might get some pitches from those people in that particular marketplace, those different products and partners there. I might get pitches from accelerators, the incubator model we look at. And then I'm assessing, does this product suit the need of my particular customer? So our goal is not to take and necessarily sell everything in the marketplace, and in most cases, customers will only have a few products within the marketplace. Our goal is to prioritize the products, take the ones that are most important, that are most applicable and selling really well, and then, as an add-on sales opportunity and looking at building on that platform, we go out to the marketplace if a customer has a very specific need that's not met by our platform. Does that address?
Thanks, Evan. So let's look at the path of a product that's entered the incubator. We think that it has a high degree of potential. What happens there? When it's beta with the test organization, it has to demonstrate sufficient value for the organization that it works with. If it's able to demonstrate that value, it's introduced into the marketplace. All products in the marketplace have demonstrated value. However, it's only those with mass market appeal that will eventually be introduced into the white label platform and integrated overall. We think that it's really important that we're able to solve all kinds of issues for our clients. However, we recognize that the majority of issues, when we triage these issues, the majority of them can be solved by a couple of leading products. And this is the reason for white label. Next, Serena's going to discuss a little bit about how we're going to roll into this strategy and what industry we should focus on to begin with. Thanks.
Thanks, Sally. So when we look at the current way that TELUS is set up its solutions, we can see that it's organized by functionality. So we have things like assets management and retail and different functionality in general. But when we see that where people really derive value is where they have a sales process that's tailored to the industry that's right for them. So when you understand the industry's needs, you're better able to tailor the sales process to make it more compelling. So when the person is having an IoT solution that they want directly, they want to go to TELUS. But when they understand that, when they don't know the IoT solution that they want one that's more tailored to the industry. And so the question remains, which industry does TELUS now target? While the end goal is to target multiple industries, we believe that TELUS should focus its solution, focus on one industry first and then leverage its success later on, because that's how you achieve success with limited resources. So after some analysis, we believe that healthcare is the best market to reach for two main reasons. First, it's relatively less price sensitive than other markets. And secondly, it's also a place for TELUS as a core competency. And that core competency is in the form of TELUS Health. So when we look at TELUS Health, we can see that it's a leading healthcare IT company in all of Canada. And this is really important because TELUS has already made a significant investment into the infrastructure, over $1.5 billion to be exact. And so this is an investment they've already made, and it's already compliant with healthcare regulations. Furthermore, it's the largest EMR provider, so it's been able to develop some very innovative solutions that are popular in the market.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So I skipped ahead, sorry, forgive me, I don't think you answered that later. Which part of the healthcare industry? So a third of the spend in the country is on hospitals, a third is on doctors, a third is on sundry others. What particular part of the healthcare industry should we target?
Absolutely. So I was just going to dive into a use case right after. So one of them is currently, if we look at the market right now, if I'm a healthcare provider like a doctor, we can see that if I recently completed a surgery and the patient has basically passed through a critical monitoring phase, sometimes currently I still have to monitor them because that's the only way I can do it within the hospital. But the cost for this is $842 per patient per day. And so this is a huge cost in the healthcare system. And so isn't there a better way to do this? Well, there is if we have remote monitoring. The doctor can then monitor the patient's vitals through the TELUS 4G network.
Who pays in the model? Is it the healthcare system that pays, or who pays?
Yeah, so the way we envision this business model is really having the healthcare providers provide the value. So if we go ahead and see the impact, is that the cost is actually reduced from $842 per day per patient to $42 per day per patient. And this is a huge cost reduction for them. And we believe that this is a compelling reason why the healthcare and the hospital systems would pay for this. And so this also adds another benefit of being able to integrate into the workflow of the doctors. So now they are able to be more effective in their work they complete and more efficient.
Are there other ways, so you're selling to the hospitals, to answer Pam's question. Are there other ways, if we like this use case, to capture revenue in the market besides selling to the hospitals?
Sure, yeah.
I'd say focusing on hospitals is a good idea to begin with. And the reason is we're looking for where we get the maximum value. So why don't we pick manufacturing? An employee in manufacturing is maybe getting $30, $40 an hour in wages. In a hospital with a lot of different staff, nurses, doctors, etc., we're looking at saving a lot of money. If we can create efficiencies, or find efficiencies there, even small efficiencies, we get very high returns, just because saving 10 minutes of a doctor's time is probably worth $100. So we're looking at where we can find the highest wage employees, because we're an efficiency and productivity product, and then working down from there. Hospitals are probably where we have the most intense and highest paid employees, and then we move to clinics and other places. It's mostly based on the value of the increased productivity we're seeing, and basically the cost of that particular service in that industry.
Real quick, when I look at our current IoT assets, such as asset tracking, fleet management, remote monitoring, which you already have, these are applicable to multiple industries, not just healthcare. So why can't we do something like asset tracking applies to healthcare? Why are we limiting these technologies that are applicable across multiple markets?
The idea here is not so much to limit use. We want the other industries to grow organically, so keeping the sales team size constant relatively and see how they expand. But managerial time and effort is typically constrained, so we want to focus on healthcare as our growth industry and put most of our resources in there. If there are other industries that are deriving great value of purchasing products from us, we continue to serve those industries and let that go organically. It's just that given constraints, resource constraints, we do want to pick a specialization. And another contributing factor in this is that healthcare is particularly a great test case. It's a very tough environment to work in. If you can show that this works in hospitals, you can probably show this sufficiently reliable to work in any other industry.
So now that we've seen the great use case and the financial impact we can have on our users, let's look at the feasibility of what we've recommended so far. So when it first comes to risks, we have one main risk in terms of our incubator model, which is that through the incubator model, we might overlook some really great products. And the way to mitigate this is to really establish criteria and make sure that we're comparing companies appropriately when we're doing the incubator model. Secondly, because of healthcare being a sensitive market and privacy issues, legal and security issues can be occurred during implementation of our recommendation. But a great way to mitigate this is to make sure we obtain consent from the relevant stakeholders, like patients, and then make sure that we perform frequent audits both in-house and through third-party providers. And lastly, we have a great resource in the form of our trust officer, Karen Snively, and she can definitely promote accountability within the company and really ensure that best practices are enforced. Lastly, with service quality, I understand that there is a diminishing ratio between service staff and customers. And so on the surface, this might appear as perhaps reduction in service quality. But because of our industry alignment, this is actually a great way to enhance the customer experience.
Good question. As you're sort of focusing in on healthcare and moving the other existing solutions into the marketplace, do you risk impacting Telus' brand as being customer focused, customer first, by essentially automating that process of understanding and the way you're focusing?
Let me clarify that. What part of it do you see as automation?
So what I understand you're doing is you're focusing very heavily on healthcare, and you're focusing your sales staff on healthcare vertical. And then you're pushing other solutions into the marketplace, maybe under your resource, but what I heard is primarily or only through a marketplace, less of a high contact, high touch with the sales folks. And I'm just wondering if you've thought about what that might do to a Telus brand. It's really focused on customers.
Our plan is to keep other sales staff engaged with those customers as consultants and keep bringing in solutions from the marketplace for that. So our existing customers are all going to be served well by our sales staff, by dedicated consultants that understand their business. We're just saying that healthcare, we're going to go seek out new customers aggressively and try and bring them onto the platform. But all the existing customers in all their industries and the organic growth that results from that will continue on a normal pace. Does that address?
Sort of. I mean, I think you've still got a finite number of sales staff, and you're going deep into an area. So
Okay. Our plan is to keep broadly the sales staff that is available everywhere, and then just invest in more sales staff in the healthcare sector. Yes. So I just want
SWAT team. Take the approach. SWAT
Yes.
health SWAT. Okay.
Yes.
And through implementing the recommendation that we recommended today, we believe that Telus can achieve a revenue potential of 3.5 billion because of the rapidly growing IoT sphere and also because of its leading position in the marketplace. Now I'm going to talk about OT.
Let's take a look.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Nice target.